Hey everyone, this is Brianna Daughtery, and I'm completing the last assignment, which is our reflection over this Google Education course. So, prior to taking this class, I knew the bare minimum basics of Google. We all use Google to find answers when we don't know something, right? Well, yes, that is the short answer, but there's also so much more to Google than I ever knew imaginable until I really started with my classes at Fort Hays. Um, Never knew what Google Currents were, had no idea what that was at all. So then you throw that in there with my Google Docs, Google Slides, and everything. And then when I took this class, I really dug a lot deeper than I ever imagined. I wondered what could I possibly need an entire semester's worth of Google over regarding this class whenever I signed up. And I was truthfully blown away whenever with all of these assignments and how in depth we went and how far along the way it was. So Google has apps such as the Docs, Sheets, Google Classroom, Forms, Slides, YouTube, all of which we've heard of. We use a lot of the Microsoft versions of them in the schools. However, the important feature that I believe with Google is that you can access it anywhere. And it saves it automatically. I cannot tell you how many times in my education path that I have forgotten to save something and you lose it, or I don't have my flash drive with me, or something along those lines. Um, so with the assignments that were given to us throughout this course, we were able to dig deeper into these apps and how they're beneficial into our classrooms. And each educator can find different ways to use different things. A lot of the discussions that we talked about were able to utilize that. With the pandemic that's going on in the world right now, there's so many things that are virtual, so it is important. My daughter's teacher said that they never used Google Classroom prior to all of this, and now she has her students use it even when they're in the classroom, so that they are able to. It's not something new and different and overwhelming to them. Because let's face it, virtual learning is overwhelming to my first grader. So throwing in something that she's never done before is a huge deal. So I was really proven wrong with my prejudgments of this class when was able to go a little deeper. So while I was completing this course, since I'm not in the typical classroom, it was a little hard for me to try and do things for different reasons because I'm not creating lessons plans and I'm not doing it on a day-to-day basis. So I was able to use this though to help with my daughter with her e-learning. So I really wanted to know a lot more about Google Classroom. I think it's a really great. Um, when I was back in my undergrad, we used a little bit of it, but not a lot. Like I had no idea how to share things with students, on how to access things, so how to grade. I didn't know you could put forms in there to automatically disperse you some the data and the answers. So I thought that this would be a great way for me to help my daughter. She is struggling a lot with like her sight words, um, things along those lines. So I've been incorporating forms, giving her like just some quizzes day to day, and just little things that help her that she's not getting when she's not inside the classroom at this point with the virtual learning. So I did wonder how it would be with doing a full classroom instead of just one. So as always, there's bumps with technology. Sometimes the internet's down. Sometimes it's just funky and there's a format in there and all of that. My overall experience with utilizing the school classroom with my daughter, it was very successful. We did have a lot of issues. Again, it was just one-on-one. So that could also have helped. Um, I do wish that I would have interacted more forms more tools such as forms and slides to where she could like create her own slideshows and things like that. I think it would have been beneficial. She was able to definitely have some takeaway from it as far as uh, the quizzes and things along those lines. And again, I would like to see how the teacher handles it larger and how she's able to keep interaction with multiple students on a daily basis. Using Google from here on out is definitely going to be something that I utilize. simply because you're able to connect with it and it's literally everywhere. For example, there were many nights whenever I was replying to discussion boards via my phone, the app on my phone. Driving somewhere, if my fiance is driving and I'm able to read others and post discussion comments with them, or even work on my Google Docs. That was the best part, being able, sometimes you're stuck in a long wait and you really, instead of, scrolling through social medias or something, I was able to fully utilize any spare time that I had. And so I think that that is also really important for us to express to our students in managing their time. And I'm really curious, like when beginning the research on where Google started and how it started and how much it's grown, I'm really curious as to how it's going to take us in the future. Will we all be Google Center? Like how is that going to affect us? Most people are using this on a day-to-day basis. I mean, how it's just a term. Google it. Like, don't know the answer to something? Oh, I bet Google does. So I think to keep enforcing that and realizing what the added features are and staying up to date on that is important, is an important takeaway on this and how many different ways we can incorporate that. This course was a good mixture of all of the areas of the TPAC. I mean, you talk about the technology, knowledge in there. You have the content knowledge as to what you're learning and how you can incorporate that, as well as your I can never say this word, your pedagogy knowledge, like what you are wanting to bring to the table. There were tons of standards that correlated to this when you go through them. I mean, almost all of them. However, when I was reading through them over and over, the one that stood out to me in this area was standard 4B, and it states that we ensure that the resources for supporting the effective use of technology for learning and are efficient and scalable to meet future demand. You can use this in a kindergarten setting, you can use this in a college setting. So we're able to utilize it all different levels, all different ways. So that is important to me because that is a powerful tool that we need to use in our classroom. Overall, I have thoroughly enjoyed this class, much more than I had anticipated, and I've taken away a lot. And I really look forward to what all I can do with Google, and as far as in my personal life as well as my daughter's education life. Thank you, and I hope to see you all soon.